Top professionals in the nation's aviation industry have recently marshaled out recommendations regarding aviation financing in Nigeria. Stakeholders comprising airline executives, aviation agency regulators, cargo handling managers, aviation business leaders, and aviation and airline financiers were all at hand to deliberate on the theme, Financing Aviation in Nigeria, the Risks, Opportunities and Prospects. Speaking at the 29th Annual Conference of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents, LAAC, which was held August 2025 in Lagos, the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Bismarck Rewani, in his presentation at the conference, highlighted principal weak points depleting the sector.
The Nigerian economy, GDP was rebased and it's now about $246 billion, about $250 billion. But it's growing at 3.13%. You must bear in mind that we're growing at 3.13%. Our population is growing at 2.6%.
He said Nigeria lost $3.5 billion in aviation revenue between 2020 and 2022, blaming it on failing infrastructure, poor planning, and a fragmented sector, pinpointing the drop in domestic passenger traffic to 11.5 million in 2024, which was a second consecutive year of decline. He said airlines are struggling and passengers are losing faith. Delays, cancellations, and inefficient operations are pushing people away, he noted.
But it's fragmented. When you have a fragmented industry, it's going to consolidate and there will be a shakeout inevitably. Domestic passenger traffic declined for the second straight year to 11.5 million passengers in 2024. Due to poor infrastructure, Nigeria's aviation sector lost $3.5 billion in revenue between 2020 and 2022.
Further providing statistics surrounding the debilitating conditions in the industry, Rewani portrayed a too many, too little relationship between airlines and airports in Nigeria, where there are 23 active domestic airlines, yet 5 airlines control 75% of the market. He said this imbalance limits competition and growth. The Economist pointed to state-owned airlines as another issue. He noted that states are racing to launch airlines and airports when most lack commercial viability, mentioning Ibom Air, Akwa Ibom 2019, Kali Air, Cross River 2021, and Enugu Air, Enugu 2025. Among these airlines, he also listed 5 new airports built by states between 2019 and 2024, contrasting the $1.5 billion profit of Ethiopian Airlines and the $19.8 million profit of South African Airways in 2014. Rewani drew the attention of participants at the event to what makes the difference between the airlines. He noted that modern fleets, revenue diversity, and efficient hubs were significant differences, while asserting that in the case of Nigerian airlines, they relied on government bailouts, operated in low-demand markets, and faced mismanagement. Representing the president of Sabre West and Central Africa, Dr. Gabriel Olowo, the chief financial officer at Interguide Group, Mary Olowo Shukeye, had also proposed solutions to the aviation financing sector in Nigeria.
The last financing option I want to talk about is the export credit-backed financing. I think this is one that Nigeria could really take advantage of and tap into. This improves access to funding with government guarantees. This basically makes interest rates lower and it makes them more affordable for new airlines. I think we can all agree that a lot of our airlines in Nigeria could probably use more fleets, right? In this funding type, the government comes in and gives you credit worthiness that allows you to be able to get better loan options to actually fund your aircraft.
She urged airlines to abandon outdated funding models to strengthen liquidity and reduce operational risks. Calling for financial adaptability, Olowo Shukeye encouraged that airlines should adapt financing to Nigeria's volatile economy. Sustainable aviation finance must balance risk and long-term viability, she said. She also called for regulatory support in accessing global credit and financial tools.
We must continue to evaluate cost reduction methods that does not jeopardize our airline safety. I think you will all agree with me that nothing kills an airline quicker than a plane crash or any kind of circumvention of safety. With that said, I believe that once we can get proper financing, get our financials and our ducks in a row, Nigeria has the ability to increase its success rate from the 48% I mentioned when I started my speech to 81%.
The LAAC chairman, Sulaiman Idris, had opened with a welcome address, dishing hard truths and warning that aviation is capital intensive, requiring no shortcuts. He hinted that airlines face forex challenges and high interest rates. Government policies, he said, remain too unpredictable. However, he also saw potential, noting that Nigeria's strategic location offers untapped value that only needs innovation and policy consistency.
To unlock these potentials, we must embrace innovative financing mechanisms, ranging from public-private partnership, build, operate, and transfer models, leasing arrangements, to sovereign-backed financing and targeted foreign direct investment.